Alright, I'm really excited for today's episode. So we're doing Piri Piri, which is a African hot sauce, which uses African bird's eye chili. Other stuff in the ingredients are like onions. I'm using shallots though. Garlic, some lemon, rosemary extract, which we'll have to do some extraction on. Cayenne pepper, paprika, and then you'll want to make sure that you have plenty of sunflower oil and vinegar, but I'm going to use red wine vinegar. And then it also calls for green chilies, but in a previous episode we mentioned MacLeod green chili pepper fused olive oil, which I got a bottle of, which I'm excited to try using. This is actually an African chili pepper, and it's been fused into a olive oil, which is good because this recipe, well, not recipe, but these ingredients obviously are heavy in oil most likely. Okay, so first we'll start with the chili pepper, which I ground up. So this is what it looks like whole pod, and this is what it looks like all ground up in mortar and pestle. And these, I think, are pretty hot. I think these are hotter than Serrano. Oh. Oh, it's really good. It's really dry. Heat. Oh my god. Okay, it's really spicy. Woo. Okay, so first we're going to extract the rosemary. And, oh man, my mouth is still on fire. I know obviously you'd want to take the leaves all away from the stem, but we're going to be removing this whole thing later anyways, so honestly I don't care. Okay, so we have about a half cup of rosemary, and let's just do a 1-to-1 ratio of oil. So yeah, and then get a half cup of the sunflower oil. Okay, so I cooked the rosemary in the sunflower oil for about 5 minutes, I would say. Probably wouldn't want to go past 10 minutes because you don't want to degrade it down too much. You just want to kind of activate the release of the flavors and the aromaticity into the oil, and then you're just going to let it set for a while. Okay, next we're going to make the garlic and the shallots. I chose shallots because shallots are a little more closer in flavor to garlic in my opinion. Alright, so we just want to cook that for just a little bit, just to get some of the flavor out and put it in there. Yeah, I know there's some rosemary leaves in there, but it's fine. Okay, we let the rosemary and the sunflower oil marinate for a spell. Basically, we had to put it in the fridge just so it could cool down because we don't want these ingredients like the garlic and the onion or this rosemary to be hot going into our mix. Okay, so we're going to be doing 2 cups total. So we're going up to here, and we're basically adding all the ingredients now. And the thing that I worry about, which I had to prepare for, is that the previous sauces we'd made really weren't thickening properly. So I really think getting the right thickening agent makes the most sense. So some things you can find in the store, maybe online as well, is like something, this is a little advanced, but xantham gum. It's actually something I use at work as a formulation scientist to thicken things. You basically have to vortex it in solution really hardcore, and then it thickens the whole solution. And this is pretty good at surviving acidic type environments, which will happen with the presence of the lemon juice and the red wine vinegar. So we really want to make sure this is stable. You can also use, and I think this is also stable in acidic environments, is arrowroot, which is also a pretty good like starch-based kind of thickener. And I think also this can be vortexed into submission, or you might have to heat it up like regular flour. So just something to consider. I don't think cornstarch, for example, will be able to survive acidic environments. So I think we're gonna use this. Also, another thing I was worrying about in thinking about this was that we've got oil, the main base of our recipe is like oil, and then the other parts like vinegar, which is basically water. Like, how is those two things gonna like work together? So we have to have some kind of emulsifier to let them marry. Soy lecithin might work, but I couldn't find any. So I found some flaxseed meal, which I think might work. We're not going to add a lot of it because it's still a little grainy, but we'll give it a shot. Paprika, which is also called for, I heard is pretty good at emulsifying, but we'll see. Quarter cup of red wine vinegar. So that's that. And we'll do a quarter cup of the lemon juice. Do that. And we'll do a quarter cup of the MacLeod green chili pepper. And then I don't think we need a lot of paprika, so I'm thinking just a teaspoon should be enough. And then all of the onion and garlic, and it's oil that it came with. And the rosemary extract, I don't think we need a lot of that. Probably a teaspoon is more than enough. And then the flaxseed meal, we'll probably do 1 teaspoon of the flaxseed meal. We'll have to add more if it doesn't work, of course. And then this is a quarter cup about of this, which might be overkill. I mean, that's a tablespoon. That seems like a lot. Maybe we start with a tablespoon and see if we want to add more later. And then the cayenne pepper, probably 2 teaspoons maybe. We'll start with a teaspoon and see where that's at. So we'll start there. And then some salt that we'll just sprinkle in for now. So I don't know how much xantham gum we need to thicken. So we'll just start with a teaspoon. And I'm going to start at this level to begin with, and then if I need to add more ingredients, we'll figure it out. And when I get the flavor that I'm happy with, I'll level it out to 2 cups total, probably with a little bit of water. Yeah, probably just water. Okay, so we got an immersion blender, which will hopefully help this get emulsified. So maybe a teaspoon was too much. Holy shit, dude. Yeah, definitely had to add some water to this. Woo! Oh, holy shit. Oh, wow, that's really spicy. It's really good though. It's extremely creamy and fluffy. Holy shit. It's crazy looking. It's completely insane looking. So that's a half cup of water I just added. Yeah, it's like significantly less spicy now. Yeah, that water really broke the spice completely. Okay, so I think I might add the habanero now. All right, so I added another 1/4 cup of the MacLeod green chili pepper oil in here, which is that right there. And then I pureed up some hotties, some habaneros, and just put a little water in there, pureed it up with some water. Probably do a tablespoon of that in there. That will add a little kick back into it. Add just a little bit of salt. Whew. Yeah, it's got a nice kick to it. I don't think it's spicy enough though, because if we've learned anything from our baking excursions with chicken, is that the spicier you think it is, the less spicy it is in the end. Yeah, I think the baking process like burns off some of the spice or whatever. I don't know what the science behind it is, but it annoys me. So let's add another teaspoon of cayenne. And let's add another teaspoon of African bird's eye chili. And it's already got a nice vinegar flavor to it. I feel like it could use a little bit more lemon juice. Half a tablespoon of lemon juice. Oh gosh. Oh no! Got a seed in there. Damn it. Oh! Another seed. This is really professional. Alright, giddy up. A little jiggly. A little jiggly. Not entirely sure that's the consistency I totally want, but whatever. Totally think that xantham gum is powerful stuff. You might have been able to get away with just sprinkling the xantham gum in. Alright, moment of truth. This is mine. This is store-bought. Really can't see much of a difference. I marinate them for an hour. Yeah, the flavor is really mild on the store-bought even. Yeah, maybe this is the type of sauce you put on after you cook it. I mean, you can marinate them in it. I'm sure that won't hurt. Or marinate them for longer than what I did. But I would also coat them after the fact. But yeah, I still think that this recipe is solid. And the store-bought's still pretty good. Their garlic version that they have is amazing. I would recommend checking that out. All right, till next time.